The lesson learned is that if you believe in something, always have the end game in mind. How fast you are going to get it into the market, how you are going to commercialize it, and during the commercialization phase, do you want to take it to the end level, which is your IPO? Time is a big factor now. If you do not understand how this whole thing works, it will fall flat no matter how good the product is, what kind of backing you have. We have numerous examples now in front of us. Cost to take any product into the market is negligible now.
Welcome to Software Leaders Uncensored. I'm Steve Taplin, and every episode I get the privilege of sitting down with technology and business leaders, understanding what's working, what's not, and how they're fighting the day-to-day challenges. After over 190 of these conversations, there's a lot of patterns that are forming, and that's what this show is all about, analyzing those patterns and sharing them with our audience so you can learn from it directly. Today, I am joined by Ritesh Agarwal, who is the CEO and board member at Gemelli Biotech, which has a really unique biotech solution focused around IBS. He's going to talk about their business, their tech challenges. Ritesh, welcome.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. And thanks for calling me in, and hi to your audience.
You bet. Now, remember, it's mostly tech nerds that listen to this show, but business people too. But give a good description of your company and what it does.
Oh, good description for my company. So name of the company is Gemelli Biotech, founded, I think in 2016, 2017. It's been 7 years. The company has done really, really well. It's in the IBS space. And this is one of the diseases that has been debated for centuries, whether it's a disease or it's a psychological effect. Now it is all proven. 10, 15 years ago, there were a lot of debate in the medical community, and they proved that it is an overgrowth of a bacteria in your gut. And with that, it led to a lot of research.
Can't even imagine how pissed off, sorry to interrupt you, Ritesh, but how pissed off people had to be who actually have IBS when they were trying to say it was mental and not, that's frustrating. Sounds like it's come a long way.
Yeah, Steve, you won't believe I talk to a lot of our patients, right? And once you talk to them, then you will understand the magnitude of this problem. You won't die because of IBS, but I have heard the comments, it's better to be dead versus living with it. It's so chronic. And I was amazed that doctor community or medicine community took it so lightly for so long. But finally, there is a solution. This company came out of Cedars labs in Beverly Hills, California. And this is the world's first test that actually has 3 gas tests: hydrogen, methane, and hydrogen sulfide. The third gas, hydrogen sulfide, is the one that gives the confirmatory test for the IBS. And there's a lot of technical stuff that goes through, but 3 gas test at home gives you the confirmation whether you have an IBS, different types of IBS, whether you have it or you don't have it. And that's a game changer. So this company, right now, as I said, is 7 years into it. We have served more than 100,000 patients. And I still feel that we have just scratched the surface. There's so much to do. And it's so good to talk to the customer, the patient, and then see that they finally know whether they have IBS or not, or kind of IBS they have. And then finally they get the right treatment. So unbelievable. This is amazing. So this is what our company is all about.
Very exciting. And knock on wood, fortunately, I don't have experience with IBS, but I've heard the horror stories. And so for patients, your clients to use you, do they have to go through a doctor? Is it direct?
It's a very good question. So yes, you have to go through your doctor, because it's a prescription, but it can be done directly on our website. You come to our website and you can order the test. We have doctor as a part of our offering that will basically prescribe the test. And this is all behind the scene using the technology and seamless for you. So you pay for it and then you get the test at home. Once you take the test, you ship it back to our lab in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. They publish the result and they give you all the analytics and put it on send it via email.
And where is your company headquartered?
So company's headquarters right now is in Phoenix, Arizona, but I am in Los Angeles.
Gotcha. And what is the work model with your company? Are people in office, hybrid, remote? I'd imagine if you have a lab, those people are obviously in office.
Yes. So before COVID, yes, we had an office. It was a North Carolina company. That's how it started. So people used to come to office, but during the COVID, the whole commercial model changed. So except for lab people, everybody is virtual now, and which in fact has worked very well for us because now we can have best talent available sitting in Seattle and doing the sales for us. Before it was like everybody has to be in office, so you work with the local talent, but now it is absolutely global. I have folks sitting in London, I have folks sitting in India that are doing work for us, and we don't have to worry about the office space.
Awesome. All right. So this is a tech show. Tell our audience about your product engineering tech organization and the kind of stuff you guys are doing.
Yes, absolutely. So my background is in the tech. For last 27 years, I've been associated with technology. In fact, my undergrad and post both in the technology. So this company, when before I took over, was primarily running through the manual process. And this is the typical cycle of a biotech company. You get it out. There's a science behind it. Then you take it to the market. You test the market with POC, and you see whether it's working or not working. But what happens is at some point of time, you hit that mark where you have to bring the productivity, efficiency, and that is where technology comes in. So I took over this company seven months ago, and before that, I was a board member. So when I took over, the company was running negative. And the whole idea is that in order to make it profitable and to bring the efficiencies and productivity, we have to get the technology introduced. So what we did, we basically put the whole plan together. And the first thing we did is the order entry system, which is the lowest hanging fruit. So we get a lot of requisitions from doctor's office, hospital systems, right? Those requisitions come into the handwritten notes, like ordering the test. And it's very difficult to read them. And there's a lot of money that is being spent to get it fixed, right? You have to call the doctor office, ask
Common
them.
problem in
Big
this
problem.
space, right?
Big problem.
Lots
So
of
what
paper.
lots of paper, very badly written paper, insurance information is not correct, so you have to correct it. And then you know what, all this thing end up being a bad customer experience. Either they end up paying more or they don't pay it, then they get the collection notice, and on top of that they don't get the right treatment in the sense the kit that they need for the testing, because even the kit, there are various different types of packaging that is being sent to them. So it is a complete chaos. So technology is the answer for it, and that's how we have implemented. So what we did, we came in and we first thing we did is we used Gemini, Google's Gemini OCR system, and that basically solved 80% of the problem that we have. This is amazing. This system is an AI-based OCR system. It learns by itself. It is able to read worst possible handwritten notes and digitize them. And that's, as I said, that solves 80% of the problem. So that's the first thing that we implemented. Once the requisition is being digitized, it comes on our portal. That's a homegrown system that we built in a short period of time. It comes on the portal. It is being assigned to few order entry specialists. They look at few anomalies, fix it on a fly, and then send it for fulfillment. Once it goes through the thing that used to take 3 days to process, now it's taking, I think, 15 minutes to process. And it's much more efficient, accurate, and absolutely speed is unbelievable. Once it goes to fulfillment, that's where the next set of battles start. Now you have to ship it, right? And it's a whole logistic business. So during the shipment, what's happening and how it is being processed, that was a black box. So we got UPS system implemented now, and with RFID. So we know at any point of time where the shipment is, what exactly is being happened, and when we are getting it back to our lab. The third piece is the lab, where it comes. Now the lab has done their part. They have the machine, they tested it, but how to publish the reports in the real time. So we got the LIS, which is Lab Information System, implemented now. And that system basically creates a report with full analytics around it and send it online to the patient based upon the medium they have chosen. The last piece too is the revenue cycle management. That's a different story altogether. That's where we are going to implement next set of automation where we can recognize revenue faster than anybody can think of.
Gotcha. So, man, you guys are a biotech research company. You're a medical company. You're shipping all these things to the home. So you're a logistics company. With that, that's a lot of tech challenges to work through because you're forced from a compliance from HIPAA, probably FDA and more. Like, tell us some of the unique industry related challenges. I don't even know what industry to call you based on all those things.
You are so right, Steve. It is a biotech company, so there's a science aspect to it. Then after that, there is a marketing aspect. There is a aspect to it. Then there is an operation aspect, and then we have a digital channel which is D2C. So you are selling it on our website. Then there's a DTC channel to it, and then on top of that you have revenue cycle management. So it's a full blown company where you have. I compare it to, like, you know what, I don't know what else Amazon is doing, but I now understand what kind of issues Amazon type of company is, a big logistic company they have. It is not easy to run the company, and this type of company, this complex company. The only answer to it is technology. Until you implement the technology and the right technology, and we are living in the AI world. I am very happy to report in 7 months of my journey in this company, we have implemented all these things. I've been in, as I said, in IT for 27 years. These type of implementation used to be 2 to 3 years implementation. Now it is like weeks. Like anything we want to implement, there is a product out there, mostly plug and play. You basically integrate it, and even integration is so simple now. You just get it done. The challenge I find in this whole piece is the domain knowledge. So domain knowledge is key. If you have the domain knowledge, finding the right product or building the product to automate all these things is not a big deal anymore.
So you have your tech team is worldwide.
Mhm.
And you're dealing with HIPAA related info, you're dealing with different regulations, and you put all these systems together in less than a year. How did you pull that off? It's hard enough in tech, let alone when you have to then tie all the industry compliance requirements in there.
Yes. So that's one of the, I would not say a roadblock, but this is one of the challenge that we have, that all the vendor partners that we work with, they are all HIPAA compliant. So that's sometimes difficult to find. And sometimes we find talent or companies that are not HIPAA compliant. So we ask them to get a HIPAA compliant, and then there's some EAA contract that they have to sign. So we do all that work. And once it is done, it's not a problem. So yes, you just cannot go and start working with anybody. You have to go step by step, but once it happens, most of the partners that I have found so far in technology, they know what it takes to make it happen because they have been into the healthcare system or working for the healthcare companies, so it becomes fairly easy afterwards. Initially, entry barrier is very high.
So you have a unique background and have done a lot. Tell us about your career journey and what led you in leading your current company.
My career journey. So born and brought up in India. I did my undergrad in electronics and communication and then MBA in finance, and moved to US in 1997, worked for ENY, Bank of America, Farmers Insurance. And in all this time, I was working into the information technology or IT departments, building their softwares or managing the software, working with business very, very closely. And I got a firsthand understanding of what business is looking for and what IT is looking for. And there's always a gap between the two. And up till now, there was hardly anybody to bridge the gap. What business says and what technology folks says is two different things. And that's why it is always a tussle between the two, specifically when a large project has been implemented. So I used to say in my old days that during the testing, we get the requirements basically. So all those bugs that we find actually are the requirements that we should have included in the during the requirement phase. So I got an opportunity with some of my friends to start a venture firm in 2014, 2015. And that was just a coincidence. We were done with our careers and we were like, okay, we have done that technology part. What else? And it's like, you know what? We have so much experience and so much knowledge and so much networking we have done over a period of years. Why don't we start our own venture firm and invest in the technology companies, basically incubate the companies, because we see a lot of gaps in the healthcare industry, in the cybersecurity, in the transportation and now space, so much gaps. So we said, why don't we start? And we did 3 funds in 10 years. And Jameli was one of the company that I seeded and was sitting on the board. And I always felt that, look, this company, if we introduce the technology, it will do really, really well because that's where it's complex function, but that's where the we can increase the productivity, bring the efficiency, and bring the cost of doing business down. But most of the biotech people are most of the biotech companies are being run by uh, biotech people. They come from the science background, not from the technology background. And I believe, I don't know, but I believe now, being running this company for 7 months, that at some point of time, and I hope in near future also, people will realize that in order to run a company effectively, you have to have a blend of folks that have knowledge of finance, technology, as well as operations. Otherwise, it would be very hard to run a company without having the knowledge of this. Science is must, but it's not very important once you are in the commercial phase.
Gotcha. No, fascinating story and appreciate you sharing that. I have been a serial tech entrepreneur and I'm very big on the power of learning from your failures. And a lot of people don't like to talk about their failures. I wrote a book last year about I've had 30 companies and 20 failed, but 10 succeeded. It is called Fail Hard, Win Big. And I've been very good at learning from failures and making sure to use failure as fuel as opposed to letting it take you down. What are some lessons that have shaped your leadership style and throughout the ventures you've been in?
That's fantastic. I have seeded and funded almost 26 companies during my venture days. And you're right. I think four or
Was
five.
every single one a winner and turn out to be an Amazon or?
I wish. I thought when I invested, I thought, oh, this is the next mega seven coming in, right? So to answer your question, this is what my experience or my learnings are. There's nothing wrong. The companies that we invested or I have invested, they all had a huge potential in that given moment. With technology, landscape changed so fast, and the COVID definitely changes the whole landscape. But technology changed the landscape so fast that most of the companies that were building the product to change the game, they became the tool, and then later they became irrelevant. So the lesson learned is that if you believe in something, always have the end game in mind. How fast you are going to get into the market, how you are going to commercialize it. And during the commercialization phase, do you want to take it to the end level, which is your IPO, or you want to do an M&A? Have this plan in place. Most of the companies, they have a very good plan for developing a product and doing a POC. And then they fall flat. During this developing a product and POC, some of the founders, they get so in it that they want to perfect it before they want to take it to the market. Time is a big factor now. If you do not understand how this whole thing works, it will fall flat no matter how good the product is, what kind of backing you have. And we have numerous examples now in front of us, and it's getting, I would say, worse day by day, worse in the good sense. Like, cost to take any product into the market is negligible now. The cost to penetrate the
AI
market,
has definitely changed the game there and
it has
allowed
changed.
shifted the focus.
Absolutely. So it is all about the skill, it is all about the domain knowledge, and it is all about where are you selling? Where is that segment? If you have figured out those three, right, and you have a concept that you want to build a product upon, that is no longer a challenge. 2015, 2016, I still, when I seeded the company, the plan was that, oh, first 2 years is all about building the product. And then next year would be running a POC with select few. And then we go for commercialization. So it was a 10-year plan. Now, when I see it, like this company in 7 months, it's completely changed the landscape. It is no longer the company that I took over. And even I am amazed at how fast the technology has changed the landscape, how fast people are able to adapt all these things. And even the customers, one more thing that I've learned, customers' landscape has changed quite a bit. They are much more tech savvy. They know what they are looking for thanks to this phone that everybody has. Now they know what's going on. So Chat GPT completely changed the landscape, right? They have more information, more knowledge about a product than you can imagine. Like if I about IBS in my other podcast that I talk about IBS, people know it. I never knew it. Like until I seeded this company, I never knew it, but people know it. So what I'm trying to say is that the lessons that I have learned, and myself I have learned, is that don't wait that you have enough time to do certain things. You don't have time anymore. The moment you have funding and the moment you have a product in place, go as fast as possible. And if you're not able to grow your company 40, 50% month over year over year, either exit out or pivot. Don't continue on that journey. Otherwise,
And I
you
like the
definitely.
perspective you started with funding 26 companies, seeing what works, what doesn't, and the speed aspect. Those are phenomenal insights there. I like it. So, Ritesh, as your company keeps growing, what's getting harder as you guys keep growing?
What's getting harder? So there are two aspects to it, and that's a very good question. Even I keep on thinking about where exactly I am going to have a roadblock in this company. Now we have fixed most of the things. We are marching forward. We are growing at the right pace. But where are we going to hit the ceiling? I think finding the customer, number one issue. Healthcare. So you know your patients, right? They either come to hospital, they either come to doctor's office, or they are researching on their own and they're looking for the right solution. But still, to reach out to the right customer, tell them that or educate them what's going on specifically in this domain, and give them the test in their hand, it's a challenge. And that's where again I go back, and technology will play a big role. Big role means big role. Like, how do I get to this? All these Instagram communities or the TikTok communities are the right place to go. That's where they talk about this disease, right? Those are the places where you need to go and penetrate. So finding the customer in the shortest possible time with the minimum cost is the key, right? Second piece I see is the optimization of the workflow, because you build the company without thinking that someday you will get to a certain point. But when you get to a certain point, company that you have built, the processes that you have built, these are all independent process running in a silo, not talking to each other. While you are running at 500 miles per hour, now you have to integrate all these things. Maybe the way I feel it, it is a challenge to do it when you are running at 500 miles, but the culture is the biggest roadblock. When you have built a culture where people work in silos and say, this is what it is, right? I am the one who's running the company. I am the contributor. No, this whole engine is the contributor to run this company. So always keep in mind, when you're building the company, build the right culture and build the right processes, even if they are loosely integrated, but have them integrated. It's easy to fast track it versus starting from the scratch. That's the challenge I'm having today.
Gotcha. So, fast forward 12 to 24 months, and let's assume nothing changes in your organization. What breaks first?
Operation, delivery and operation.
And what do you think you can do from a tech perspective to make sure you're evolving as fast as the market?
Keep on innovating, keep on finding the right partners, keep on improvising the workflows, integrating the workflows, looking at the right tools, have them in, and the dedicated team to look into the improvisation all across. Because in our business, growth is the biggest killer. You go into the hyper growth, the growth will kill you, right? So you have to be very careful how you grow the company.
All right. So, last question here, Ritesh. And you've given some great tidbits here. And I want you to try to think of a different angle than you've already discussed. And you've given great tidbits. But as a guy who's been a founder, an investor, an entrepreneur, multi-time CEO, what advice would you give to other founders and CEOs out there who are going to take on the journey that you have?
It depends, like
And
how
you hit
passionate.
so many good tidbits earlier, so I put you on the spot of not repeating those.
So this is a there's no single answer for it. That's how I see it. It all depends who is the founder, right? I find people who are so passionate, they're willing to do anything and everything possible to make it happen. There are people who are trying their luck. They think that, oh yeah, next set of wealth generation will come through startup, and they don't know what they're getting into it. And the third set of people that I've met is like, I have a good view of what's going on and I can change the world. So you find different type of people or different type of founders, but I think the common thread between all of these is know what you're getting into. Do your research, understand what it takes. It is not easy. It is not a 2 years. People are lucky. It is not a 2 year journey. It takes hell lot of time to build the company. You understand what it takes to build a company from scratch, right? Number one. Number two, Understand what kind of technology you will be using. Have a flavor of technology into your mix. Without technology, you cannot scale the company, no matter what domain you are working on. So have that, and if you don't have it, hire that person first. And the last piece is the finance. Don't neglect finance. Don't think that the money will magically appear and then somebody will fund you. If you are not fiscally disciplined, sooner or later, either you will get replaced or you will bring the company to the ground. So these are three things I always say. Understand what you're getting into it from market standpoint, from psychology standpoint, from for yourself, your life cycle. Are you in 30s, 40s, 50s? What it takes. Do not assume that it will just happen by itself. No. Understand your gaps. And if you are not a techie person, hire the technology person upfront. And the last piece is the fiscal discipline. Implement that fiscal discipline from day one. Don't think that at some point of time somebody will come and teach you and tell you how to run the company. By the time either the company is gone or you are gone. And in both cases, you are at loss.
Ritesh, really appreciate you sharing all this, and thank you for getting uncensored with us today.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, Steve.
That's it for this episode of Software Leaders Uncensored. If you're leading a company, a tech organization, any of these patterns sound familiar, go ahead and subscribe, because we keep having these great conversations that people can learn from, real world advice. I'm Steve Taplin. See you next time. That's a wrap. Another great episode of Software Leaders Uncensored. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun doing this show. I love talking with great tech leaders. As a side note, if you're interested, check out my new book, Fail Hard, Win Big. This is the story of how I built 30 companies, failed on 20, and turned 10 into multi-million-dollar wins. The common thread with all of them was custom software. Also, if you need software development help out there, my company, Sonatafy Technology, we deliver world-class software development engineers out of Latin America. We have a solid track record of helping companies launch better products and faster. Thanks again for listening. Appreciate it and appreciate you.